What's up, my beautiful soul? Listen, you can't heal what you refuse to face, and you can't go where you're afraid to be vulnerable. Today, we're going to be talking about giving yourself permission to heal because some of you have been running from healing like it's your student loan collector. But it's time to stop dodging the process and actually allow God to do what He needs to do. So grab your drink, your tissues, and maybe even a helmet because God's gonna be snatching some of you guys today. So I'm just gonna be straight up real with you guys. Healing is not always a bed of roses. It's not always cutesy. It's not always demure. You know, it's messy, uncomfortable, and often involves a lot of unearthing of things that we have buried. I was hurt. And because of that, I made up in my mind that I was done with relationships. I didn't want anything to do with men. I don't want anything to do with marriage. I no longer wanted to marry because I was hurt. And because of that, I was done. Like, to me, men was like the worst creation. You guys are not. Okay? I told myself that I literally despise the entire species of men. Yeah, I despised because of because of what I went through in that past relationship. And the thing is, God warned me about that relationship and I still went ahead and did my own thing and I paid the consequences of it. After that, I just chose to be single. I wanted to be single. I wanted to live my best life ever. I just wanted to vibe. I have fun in my singleness. That's all. I just wanted to be by myself, do anything I want when I want, and just be happy. That was my goal. Be a successful, happy, fulfilled woman. That's what I wanted. And to be so for real though, some of us are not even choosing singleness because it's a lifestyle choice. We're just scared of being hurt again. And you might not like me for this, but calling your trauma a personal preference doesn't make you healed. Nothing is wrong with wanting all of that. Nothing is wrong with wanting to be single. The thing is, I wanted to be single, but I still had unresolved issues pending. You understand? And yeah, that was the issue. I still had unresolved issues. So nothing is wrong with wanting to be single or wanting to live your best life ever. You know, your single era. Nothing is wrong with all of that. It's just that I had unresolved issues. And my reason for wanting to be single was not because I really desired singleness, but it was because I feared, you understand, being hurt again. Like it was clear that I was broken. It was evidence that I was broken because I went full savage mode. I showed no mercy. I showed no mercy. Any guy that approached me, I showed them no mercy. I was brutal. Brutal is an understatement. Yeah, I was that bad. And when they wouldn't take no for an answer, I went for the extra spicy rejection. No refund, no exchanges, and especially no customer service. Yes, I was the worst. And me avoiding to deal with the issue was not helping me. And it was not helping others because what I was doing, I was hurting other people. I was just bringing my mess on other people who didn't even deserve it. They had nothing to do with what I went through. And that was just so unfair. That was just so unfair of me. And because I did not deal with that, they had to deal with my broken state. Right. I was unintentionally helping the enemy in his assignments because I refused to deal with my broken self. I refused to deal with the wounds. I refused to get it dressed. I ignored it. Like I ignored it like a toxic ex. Like I just refused to deal with it. And because of that, innocent people were being harmed. And I was aiding the kingdom of darkness. I was helping him. The enemy was getting a 2-for-1 deal on my pain. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that for 2025. No. I have been avoiding the whole issue for years. A very, very, very long time. I ignored dealing with the issue. And I just came up with a temporary solution because probably I thought I knew this. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. And so fast forward, when God was doing the absolute most, I kid you not, he was. I was like, let me explain. Okay? I was about to wrap up college. And people just would see me and say, oh my God, girl, you're just glowing. You're going to be such a beautiful wife. Or look at you. You're going to be a great wife or something of the sort. And I knew from all of that attention and the topic of marriage, I just knew that it just had something to do with God because he random people were just showing up and constantly bringing up marriages. And I know all of this may look like the norm, but you're going to understand in a minute why I said all of this was definitely a bad move. I was leaving my house to go and pick up my nephew one afternoon from school, right? His school is like a 15 minutes walk from my house. As I was leaving my house and I step out at my gate, a taxi man decided to stop. Me and that taxi man had an altercation before, and he said that I should not come back in his taxi. And so I was shocked when he stopped because he was very, very serious and frank when he told me that, hey, do not come back in my car. So, and I was shocked because he did not remember my face or my house because he dropped me at my house when the altercation happened and he told me straight up, do not come back in my car. But anyways, he stopped and I told him that I was not going where he was going. I was just going up the road and I did not need this service. But he insisted that he would drop me there. And because I did not want to walk, I entered the car, right? No, this taxi man proceeded to compliment me on my beautiful dark skin and my beautiful features. And I said thank you and so forth. And he went ahead and asked me some personal questions. No, I'm not a person who usually open up overall, especially not to strangers, because these were very personal questions. But I don't know, I just felt inclined to at the time. So I answered them, but brief answers. I gave him brief answers. Like, I did not go in detail. I just answered short answers. Okay. I gave him short answers. Yeah. So from the questions that he asked, he realized that I was a Christian, I wasn't dating, and so forth. As it relates to relationship, as you know. So we had little short chats. He was like, I knew that he was a good girl, my spirit told me so. And then immediately, guys, I kid you not, this man who was not a Christian because he said, I'm not a Christian, right? Who was not a Christian, he straight up said he's not a Christian, started interceding on my behalf. When I tell you that this man prayed, he prayed in that taxi in the presence of other passengers in the car. Okay? He was like, God, do it for her, Jesus. I know I'm not a Christian, but do it for her. This girl is a good girl and she needs a good man by her side. He was interceding, going in. as if my husband was about to walk in. Okay? And I was just, I did not know how to react. Okay? I was so shocked. I was like, am I in a movie right now? Ugh, what is happening? I'm so confused. Like, he straight up prayed, interceded. Okay? Hands off the wheels. Momentarily, of course. But he interceded. I mean, I was just trying to get to my destination. And this man turns his vehicle into a deliverance service. Can you believe it? I was shocked. Blown away evil. Color me surprised. After he finished praying, he's like, you know what you should do? Write a book. I did not speak or tell him anything in depth. You understand? For him to even think that my story is actually book worthy. So from I heard that, I definitely knew it. This had God's signature all over it. I knew this was God. So after I experienced that, I went and sought out God, right? And I spoke to him. I was very open about my thoughts and why I have those thoughts and why I feel the way I feel about these thoughts and all kind of stuff. And the Lord said something to me. He said, Naomi, first of all, you need to let me go because you haven't forgiven me. You hold me up in your heart and you need to forgive yourself and you need to forgive that person. And immediately as he said that to me, I just broke down. I broke down in tears. I could not keep myself together. I just melted because the truth of it just melted me immediately. And I just started to cry. And I just had to let go of God, let go of myself, and let go of that person. I dealt with that issue right there and then. And I just cried the entire session. I just cried. And you see, after I cried, I felt so light. So light that the breeze could carry me away. Honestly, I felt so light. Like it took me that long to deal with this. And it feels like this. Like it took me that long. When it feels like this, it took me that long to deal with this. I spoke and I said, Naomi, I forgive you for doing this. And I spoke out loud and I just cried and I repeated it until there was no more tears left. And then after that, I prayed for that person who hurts me. I prayed for them. I prayed that God will bless them and that they will change and that they will actually have a relationship with God and God will deal with them right. You understand? I prayed good prayer for this person and that's helped me to forgive them because that's one of the things that helps with unforgiveness. You see, when you have somebody up in their heart, pray for them. I'm not talking about bad prayer now, but say, oh God, curse them and let them go. That's not what I mean. Pray that God will bless them and God will help them and God will guide them and God will push them into purpose. That's the type of prayer that you need to pray. And that will help you to let go of the person. If you leave those issues not dealt with, it's going to open doors for the enemy to work in your life and to use you to build his kingdom and to cause havoc and to destroy and to kill and to steal from people. You understand? You're literally helping the enemy do his job when you leave unresolved issues, brokenness, anger, bitterness, when you leave those things without solving them. You understand? You become a tool to the enemy. So I encourage you, stop running from healing. Stop being stubborn and allow God. I know it's painful. I know it's hard to deal with. I know it's hard to face. I had to face it and it was hard, but it was so worth it. Trust me. The before and after, amazing. Alright, fam, let us land this truth. You cannot move forward if you're still carrying yesterday's baggage. So here's what to expect when you're going through the healing process. First of all, letting go is not a one-time event. It is something that you make up your mind to do daily. Secondly, healing is not linear. There will be days when you're free and days where you just want to fight everybody. Thirdly, healing is not just about us. It affects our future, it affects our relationships, and it affects the people around us. And lastly, God's grace is there for every moment of regret, every mistake, and every brokenness. So for this week challenge, I want you to ask yourself and ask God if you have any hidden unforgiveness that you have not dealt with yet. And if you do, I want you to write a letter to whoever it is about. If it's about yourself, about other people, or even God, I want you to write that letter releasing that person. And after you release that person, I want you to pray for that person. You understand? Pray for them and then pray for you and declare over your life. Okay? And next week, we're going deep. The episode is called Heart Surgery, God's Healing Touch. Because listen, when God starts to work on you, it will be like surgery with no anesthesia. And if this episode spoke to you, I want you to hit, share, like, and subscribe, and share it with a friend. Love y'all. And remember, healing starts when you stop running.